Hi, how are you doing? Hope you're doing great. Hope you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend planned out. Travel safe and just be careful. A lot of crazies out there on the road, a lot of people who don't know what they're doing, risking your health and safety. Well, I'm just going to say a little bit about Mark Meadows, a guy I consider extremely unprepared to be White House Chief of Staff. He is a dumbhead. As far as I can tell, he only went to 13th grade. And now he's in the White House with Trump telling us, all of America, what we need to do when there's a health crisis, what we need to have put in our bodies, what we need to do about everything. He is unequipped. He's in the White House with Trump and the pillow guy. He's in the White House with Trump and the guy with Overstock.com. He's in the White House with all of these really, really dumb heads who are telling us what to do. Well, August 31st, Mark Meadows filed with the federal courts his last-ditch effort to get out of the Georgia RICO case. He says, hey, I was just doing what I was told, and because I was told to do stuff, I felt it was part of my job as White House Chief of Staff. Well, that's the dumbest thing in the world. If someone had told him to go out and shoot somebody, he would have done it because he was told by Trump. No, you have to have a brain, and this guy doesn't have a brain. So he could not decipher between work that he was doing in the federal government for the American people versus work he was doing as a campaign manager for President Trump. Now, he should have known when he made that phone call to the Secretary of State of Georgia that that was a political campaign call. He was calling the Secretary of State of Georgia to try to bully the Secretary of State into giving Trump 11,780 more votes, canceling out the voting rights of people in the state of Georgia and giving instead those votes to Trump so he could apply them to himself so he could keep his job. Well, of course, this also helped Mark Meadows because he wanted to keep his job. He's totally unqualified for most jobs, and so he knew that it was very important for him to keep this job with Trump. And so he had a self-interest in this. He wasn't just helping Trump, he was helping himself. Those 11,780 votes were going to get Mark Meadows into that job for possibly another 4 years with stupid Trump. And so he was not doing work for people. He was doing work for himself to keep a job. He was doing work for Trump to help his campaign so that he could win. Now, Trump says he won, but let's not fool ourselves. You know, when you win, you don't go around looking for more votes. If somebody tells you you won something, you don't really care how many votes there are. You just know you won. But if someone tells you you lost, you want to know how much you lost by and how many votes you needed in order to win. And that's what Trump was doing on that call to the Secretary of State of Georgia. So the fact that he made that call, the fact that he asked for 11,780 votes, shows that Trump knew he lost. Again, if you win, you don't call people up asking for more votes. You don't say, oh, you won by 11,000 votes, and then you call up and say, well, can I get another 11,780 votes by canceling out the voting rights of 11,780 people and giving those votes to me? No, you don't go to break the law when you won. If you won, you won. But if you know you lost, then you go scouting for votes. And that is illegal. Now, we all went to grade school. And you know, in grade school, junior high, high school, we have elected officers. You elect class president and so forth. When you elect those officers are never counting the votes. You do not have the candidates for office counting the votes. That never, ever happens. We were trained that way from grade school, elementary school. We know that. So why would Trump come in and think it's his job to count votes in an election in which he was a candidate? Stupid. Stupid. So let's not kid ourselves. Trump knew he was overstepping. The Secretary of State of Georgia knew this was illegal and was smart enough to not cave to the bullying of Trump and Mark Meadows. And Mark Meadows knew, even though he is very uneducated, he knew that candidates do not have the right to go in and count votes. And he admits he even went to the local voting site to see what was going on. Candidates can't even do that. Candidates do not step in to the vote counting area. And we know that through all of our education, from elementary school through high school. Candidates are separate from the people who count votes. So I think his plea, his last-minute plea to the federal government shows, no, it was a choice. He made a choice to become campaign manager as well as White House staff, chief of staff, and he was doing both jobs for Donald Trump, and he knew that was illegal. I'm sure all of the people around him told him it was illegal, and he must have noticed he was the only person doing both jobs. Those are different jobs and different things. Campaign managers manage the campaign, but they do not count votes, and they do not bully people for additional votes that aren't there. And let's not forget, Georgia had counted those votes multiple times, at least twice by machine and once by hand, and all of the votes kept coming up about the same. So it wasn't as if they didn't look. It wasn't as if they rushed to judgment. They knew they had lost, and that what they were doing was totally illegal, and was a violation of election law, interference with elections. Thanks. Like and subscribe. Bye.